Hello everyone, it's Maha and Chiki. He's about to go take a bath because it's really hot here today. I just wanted him to say a quick hello to you before he takes his bath. Say hello, Chiki. Say hello, Chiki. He's really hot. And I'm going to talk about this feather thing on his belly in a moment. Want to go take a bath? Let's go take a bath, okay? So I just finished giving him a bath and now he can relax and cool off. It's gotten so hot here in the past week. Suddenly the weather just shifted and everyone's like, what happened? So we'll see how it goes for the rest of the summer. I'm not complaining though because I like it. I like summer. I love the sun. I actually like all seasons. By the way, this is going to be a very rambly, chatty video. I decided I wanted to do an update, and there's so much I want to say that I really don't even know where to start. So it made me realize that it's important for me on my channel to once in a while just do an update video to touch base, you know, and just have kind of a heart-to-heart, really informal, chatty video, and to tell you where I'm at. Tell you where I'm at with my channel. Of course, in this case, I'll be showing you some decks as well, and just to show you some stuff, just to talk and chat without having the pressure of preparing anything in advance or having any objective. I always feel like in my videos and on my channel, I always feel like I have this underneath thing where I have to teach something or I have to give information, or you know, and I love that. That's the Mercury side of me. I really love doing that. But sometimes it's important just to, you know, just do something totally brainless. So here I am. I want to show you some decks that I got in a trade, in trades, and then another deck that I have, and then I want to show you an oracle deck that I've gotten recently that I'm totally obsessed with. Well, kind of obsessed with, because I'll talk about the approach I'm taking with this oracle deck because it's very different from any other deck that I've ever gotten. And before I get to those, I want to show you this, my new obsession. I always have to have an obsession, by the way. I have a strong Pluto in my chart, and people with strong Plutos, we obsess over things. We need those obsessions. This is rhodochrosite. Look at how gorgeous it is. I love it. I could look at this forever. There's just so much to look at. And unfortunately, it has a chip. Like, do you see that line? Because I dropped it. I was sleeping with it. I've talked about this in another video. I like to sleep with my crystals. But usually I don't sleep with soft crystals. And in this case, I did. And I had it on my heart chakra. And I forgot about it in the morning. And it fell, of course. And it chipped. But that's okay. It still has great energy. So, first let me tell you something that I've been going through in the past 2 weeks, which has to do with Chiki, which is why I brought him in the beginning of the video. I don't know if you noticed on his chest there was a feather missing. So, 2 weeks ago I noticed that Chiki has been missing some feathers on his chest. And actually this has been happening for quite some time, but in the beginning I thought, well, you know, maybe his feather got caught on something. You know, I didn't think much of it. But then I had a friend who came and visited, and he has had a lot of experience with parrots. And as soon as he saw that, he said, why is he doing that? And, you know, I just said, oh, it's nothing. And he said, no, it is something. You have to look into it. This is very serious. So when I first bought Chiki, I researched his species quite a lot and found out that this type of parrot apparently is not prone to feather plucking. And so, but I guess that was totally wrong because, yes, Chiki has indeed been plucking his feathers. And if you know anything about parrots and owning a parrot, you know how damaging feather plucking is for the animal. And if you don't know about parrots, feather plucking behavior in parrots is one of the most frustrating things that can happen for a parrot owner. And it's almost always to do with psychological reasons. So I went through so much stress myself trying to figure out why is he doing this. I mean, I give Chiki everything. He's so spoiled. I spend so much time with him. He has everything that I could possibly give to him. So it was almost, it was emotionally difficult because I felt that, okay, so he's unhappy, he's stressed, he has anxiety, and I felt guilty about it. I put a blame on myself. I noticed that my inner critic was being really harsh on me. I kept hearing myself say in my own head, "You are a bad bird owner. You're a very, very bad bird owner." So it was just torturing. I just didn't know what to do about it, and I did so much research. I talked to so many people, took him to the vet, and I was going to take him to another vet and spend hundreds of dollars. I bought him toys. I did everything I could. And this all started 2 weeks ago when I started to do all this researching and all that stuff. Maybe it was more than 2 weeks ago. I don't know, time's going by so fast now. But anyway, a few weeks ago. And so finally, to make a long story short, I've resolved the problem. So as you saw, his feathers were okay. It was just a little, like 1 or 2 feathers just growing back. But feather plucking is really bad because it becomes a habit, and then they start plucking more feathers. So then they miss, like they could even miss all the feathers on their chest. And feathers are everything for birds. It's their beauty. It's what they care a lot about, maintaining their feathers. And when they're stressed, they hurt themselves. They just pluck them out. So long story short, I figured out that what he didn't like was a tiny change in the routine. I had stopped something I was doing on a regular basis, and I stopped doing something I was doing, and so my schedule had changed a little bit, so I was waking up later and going to bed later. So what happened was Chiki didn't like that. And so I had to switch my plans. I had to switch everything around and wake up the same time as I used to wake up. And that still didn't work, so I had to do a lot of other things like change his cage space, make sure he's not anxious in the morning, keep him occupied all the time. Oh gosh, and they're going, in the spring they usually go, well, they always go through mating behavior, and it's the mating season. So they want to make nests, and they want to, cut up trees and destroy and mate and fly around. And so he has a lot of energy in the spring and summer times. And so yeah, anyway, this was just a lot going on for me. Emotionally, it was really affecting me because Chiki is the joy of my life. He's the love of my life. He means a lot to me. So I didn't want to make him suffer. It was really upsetting me that he was suffering. So now he's okay, and I fixed the problem, but this is something that's really hard. I mean, even the vet told me that it's not easy to figure out why they're plucking and to fix the problem. So I'm proud of myself for actually figuring it out, and I had to, like I said, change a lot of things, which is okay. It's actually good for me too, because it gives me, I have to just pay more attention to him. I have to focus more on everything, just how he is, his state of mind, how he's eating, what he's doing, and making those little changes, those little details. They always say the devil is in the details. I had to figure out what those little details were, and making those changes has helped me to become a happier person as well, because I guess it's because I love him, and I see that he is doing a lot better, and he's happy, and that makes me happy. So that makes me, do whatever it takes to organize my life and have that purpose of, caring for something else besides myself, besides my life, So that was a big thing. And yeah, and I'm really happy now that that's over. So on my channel, I'm really excited because I have so many exciting videos coming up. I have to do a tag video that I was tagged by Casey from Starling Song. If you're watching, I haven't forgotten. he tagged me in a video long, like many months ago, and I will do a response to that. It's something I had to take my time with and think about a little bit. Plus, I'm in the midst of my tarot and astrology series, and that's taking up some of my thoughts and energy and time, and I'm excited for those. And then after that series, I'm going to start, after I finish the astrology and tarot series, I want to start another series that I'm very excited about, and it's really a fun series, but I'm not going to share what that's going to be about in this video. I'll leave it a surprise for you all. And then I want to do some additional videos to my Astrology for Pagan series that I started a while ago. So I want to do a video on balancing the elements in your chart. I want to do a video on finding the moon phase in your chart, the phase of the moon that you were born under. And I have lots of ideas for that I'm going to add. Oh, so many ideas. And back in December, I wanted to do a tarot and oracle tag so that everybody could participate. And then in December there was the Vlogmas going on, and then after that in January there was 31 days of tarot. So I was like, okay, I'll wait. And then Arwen had her tarot tag, and then the whole movement of tarot tags on YouTube began, where I see new tags all the time, which is great. But it also made me think, maybe I'll just wait a little bit and do my tag later when this tagging phase dies down a little bit and when I finish doing my own series. But I don't know if the tag thing is ever going to die down anymore. I think it's actually a thing now with everyone. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my tarot tag as well. I'm not really sure when, but I've had these questions written down for a long time, and it was for 2017, and I thought I'd start the 2017 year with that tag, but I'm going to leave it and do that in a few weeks, maybe summer solstice I thought might be a good time, because it's halfway in the year, so we've got 6 more months left after that, and I thought that might be appropriate. What do you think? Anyway, so this is just for me to touch base, mostly. Mostly I wanted to just make a quick video and talk to you and see how everyone's doing, how everyone's feeling about my series with astrology. Well, I know through your comments that really amazing, awesome comments. Thank you so much for your support, that you are getting something from those series and that they're useful to you. I guess I just wanted to tell you how I'm feeling, because I also I want to do other type of videos as well, especially with tarot, which is okay. So I'm going to stop rambling a little bit and go into the cards now, because I want to show you some of the cards. I recently got into deck trading, which is totally new for me, but how it happened is that I really wanted 2 decks. They were on my wish list. One of them, the Fountain deck, and one of them, oh, rainbow on it. Wow. Cool. And one of them, the Dame Darcy's Mermaid deck. I wanted those 2 decks, and I wanted to buy them, but I have been on this no deck buying retreat for the past year and a half, believe it or not. It was last year in, not sure when it was, actually maybe it's less than a year and a half, but it was sometime last year where I decided I'm going to take a break and do a deck detox, and I'm not going to buy any decks for a while and see how that goes, because I really saw that it was kind of becoming a little bit of a problem. I was buying too many decks, and I was having trouble even with storage, because suddenly having hundreds of decks, literally, they were just overflowing from my closet, from everywhere, decks everywhere. So I just thought, you know what, this is kind of also being really hard on your credit card, and I needed to spend my money on other things, for example, astrology, and just other things that I'm passionate about. And deck buying tend to be expensive. So I just thought, okay, I'll take a break. I took about 6 months, no deck buying. And then after that, it was like I felt a sense of calm. Like I didn't have to be, okay, I want this deck, I need that deck, I need that deck. It was just more like, do I want that deck? And I was being more picky with my choices, which is one thing that I feel is the biggest change in my whole deck collecting adventure, is that now I'm much more picky about which decks I want to get. And so I haven't really bought many decks at all, maybe a couple this year. And so I wanted to think about trading. And then the Norse Pagan Tarot, which I don't know if I can say his name. Anyway, he did a deck trade thing, and I'm gonna post a link to his channel. And he had offered the Fountain Tarot, so I thought, wow, how amazing is that? This is the deck that I wanted. So I traded my Olympus Tarot deck with this, which was a Los Scarabeo deck, and then also Amber in Wonderland. No, oh no, I said the wrong name. Sorry, April Whirlwind. Sorry about that. I'm going to link her channel also down below. She was doing a video on decks that she wanted to trade, and then suddenly I noticed that's the second deck that I really want on my wish list, Dame Darcy. So I traded The Journey of Love by Alana Fairchild, which is a beautiful deck, but I never, ever, ever used it. So I traded that one with Dame Darcy, and now I have those two decks. And I'm very, very excited to share a little bit. I'm not going to show you too many of the cards. I just want to kind of show you some cards. And then I also got this deck, Oceanic Tarot deck. And I got this from Elder Brimstone. I'm also going to post her channel down below. She had a giveaway, and I won this. And it's funny because I bought this deck once, and I returned it because I noticed that they have pips, not the illustrated Minor Arcana. So, yeah, I didn't want to work with pips, but then I have recently just been working with the Tarot of Marseille and learning more about numerology, and so I thought, well, perfect timing, because I think since it's summer now and I'm really into this mermaid theme recently, well, I always kind of have been, but there aren't really too many decks out there with the theme of mermaids. Anyway, this is a star card, which is really beautiful. And the back of the cards is really nice. The Tower. So the majors are illustrated, but the minors are not so much. No, they're just pips, the minors. This is the Vortex. I guess this is a Devil card. So yeah, I decided. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so this is the pip kind of style. So you have 2 of Swords, 3 of Swords, that kind of thing. But now that I've been working with Marseille, I can say that I'm much more comfortable now working with this deck, using this deck. Oh, right, and they have a keyword on the bottom. So 6 of Swords, Calm, and yeah, now the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot deck has been on my wish list for some time. I know they have the 3rd edition. She has the 3rd edition out now, and which I really like. But April had the 1st edition, and I thought that was awesome because since it's out of print now, what a fascinating opportunity to get this deck. So I'm very excited. The deck was really warped, but it's much better now. I put this huge aquamarine stone that I have on top of it. I thought that would be a great stone to infuse it kind of with that watery energy. And so now it's a little bit better, but if you have any suggestions for decks that are warped like this, I might have to put more weight on it. So I'm not going to show too many cards because I feel like then that's going to be a review and I can talk forever and it's already time. Well, it's time. My time is up because I can't really make a long video, and I don't want to. So anyway, the first thing I noticed is that the cards are, they have this antique finishing, and I didn't know that this first edition had the antique finishing. I thought it was just the third edition or the later editions. So, but that's fine. I like the edition. I like the antique finishing. The only thing that I found was, okay, so when I started to use this deck, I shouldn't say use this deck because I really haven't really used it, but I just kind of used it a couple of times. Wow, I love the sun card, by the way. Wow, I love that sun card. Isn't that fantastic? It just has such a joyful energy. She's just having so much fun. It's so playful, which I think the sun is so much about. And then the chariot card, I love this. It reminds me of the goddess Amphitrite. And this one card, the Fool card, is the card that got me in getting this deck. I just absolutely love this deck. And I'm not going to talk about why I have a strong connection with this card now. I want to talk about it in the video where I'll be doing Starling Song's tag. And I love this. Queen of Swords, just fantastic. Just so powerful. For me, I've noticed that whenever I'm into getting a deck, there's one or two cards that really draw me in, and that's enough for me to even decide to buy the deck altogether. So what I wanted to say quickly about this deck was that I felt a little bit confused at first when I started shuffling the deck, and I didn't know where that confusion was coming from, and I realized that there's two things. One, the aces are really hard for me to feel connected to, with the exception of the Ace of Cups, of course, because it's the water element. I mean, that's just a gorgeous Ace of Cups to begin with, but that feeling of water really comes through for me. Whereas the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles more difficult. I mean, when I think of Ace of Wands, there's the Ace of Wands, and hand reaching out, and it's a little bit, this is just the feeling I have. It's a little bit morbid, only because I guess I watched too many scary movies when I was little of people dying underneath the water or drowning, and I just get that creepy feeling with that, which isn't the Ace of Wands feeling. And also about the Ace of Pentacles, kind of similar. You know, and what I wish is that I just wish that maybe the aces, I wish there was some kind of connection to the element, like the pentacles being earth, solid, and then the wands, maybe, I don't know what, maybe if there was, for example, hand reaching, holding a pentacle, and then the background having mountains and trees, or something that would kind of connect me to the earth element, or, I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say, like, or the Ace of Swords, if maybe there was a sense of, okay, well, there's a wave, so that makes me think of the element of air. That's great. And then there's, you know, maybe some more clouds or movement in the clouds would be great. I don't know. Just one little thing. And then the other thing is that there is a little bit of a discrepancy, I noticed, because the swords have, sometimes they're symbolized by the trident. This is the Knight of Swords. And sometimes they're symbolized by just the actual sword. So the Page of Swords, you know? So here you have the Ten of Swords, and then here you have the Nine of Swords. So sometimes it's a trident, sometimes it's a sword, and that kind of confuses me. I would prefer if they were all tridents, because tridents, well, makes me think of the mermaid theme, but whereas sword is just a sword. But yeah, just either way, it would be great if there was just one, either sword or trident. What do you think? I haven't heard anybody mention this before about this deck in any of the videos that I watched. So it came in this bag. She sent it in this bag for me, which I think is appropriate because of the anchor. And then there's 2 crystals in there, which are really sweet. I don't know if she sent them in or if the deck came with these crystals. One is an ametrine, I think. And one is a hematite. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so for protection, which is nice. And I actually really like this bag, which I think wasn't the original bag. So thank you so much, April. That was really sweet. Now, 25 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so 5 more minutes I have to talk about the fountain deck quickly. First of all, I fell in love with the Queen of Cups in this deck when I first saw it on a post on Instagram. Oh my gosh, it was like, what deck is this? I have to have it. Wow, she's just in the water. She's in the ocean. Just really just in tune with that ocean energy. That's just, it just says so much. I can't even talk about this card enough. This card just is the most perfect Queen of Cups I've ever seen, in my opinion. It's just amazing. So that card was what sold me. I thought, I have to have this deck. I'm going to be honest, in the beginning, I never really wanted this deck mostly because the deck has a lot of geometric shapes and straight lines. And I'm more of an organic lines, curvy, all over the place lines kind of girl. Maybe it's because of my curly hair. I don't know, but I just I never really felt comfortable with straight lines and rulers, straight edges, and even when I do my own art, I never use any kind of straight edges. I just eyeball everything. So it's kind of not my personality. And I also felt that it was really maybe going towards the air element kind of deck, which is also not my personality. It's the one reason I think why I don't have the Wild Unknown deck is because of all the straight lines. Okay, and that's just personal. I don't really like straight lines, and I don't tend to like decks that are black and white because color is so important for me in so many ways. And so, anyway. But, having said that, with straight lines, I absolutely love this 8 of Wands, and this is my card in astrology, the 8 of Wands. Love that. And I really like the 6 of Swords, too, again, with the straight up lines. It's really powerful. It really works. But that theme, that really yang kind of straight line kind of theme, wasn't really my cup of tea. Although, now that I have the deck, I must say, it's a beautiful deck. It's just, first of all, I don't usually talk about cardstock, but the cardstock of this deck is to die for. It's like so crispy, so delicious. I love it. I love it. It's just, anyway, this is another 8 of Swords. It's just really, it's a powerful card. I think the artwork is really contemporary. It made me think of art that can hang on gallery walls. And then I read, of course, the little bio about the artist, and he is a contemporary artist that shows his art in galleries, and I can definitely see why that is. And I wanted to show you my other deck, but I'm running out of time. But I'll do it quickly. Just one sec, I have to grab it. Okay, so I'm very, very excited about this deck, everybody. The Way of the Horse by Linda Kohanov and artist Kim McElroy. And when I first heard that this deck came out by Linda Kohanov, I didn't even think twice. I purchased this deck like right away, only because, and some of you may have already heard me speak about Linda Kohanov and her books. I am just so in love with her approach and the way she writes. Her writing is so exquisite, so eloquent, she's so intelligent, she's so knowledgeable and wise, and she brings a whole range of psychological teachings in her book in relation to the wisdom of horses. She's worked with horses she has experience with horses for decades, and she works therapeutically with her clients, drawing from her experience of working with horses and the psychology of horses. And she kind of helps you, in the language and wisdom of horses, get in touch with deep emotions or emotional blockages. So when I first heard this deck was out by her, written by her, I just purchased the deck right away. And so my approach with this deck is going to be very, very different. I've never done this before, and you're going to think I'm a little bit crazy, but I know it sounds crazy, but what I'm doing is I'm reading the book from front to back, and I'm not looking at the cards. So the oracle cards come in this little box inside that bigger box, and I haven't opened up this package yet. Can you believe it? I can't believe I'm actually able to do that. Usually when I get a deck, it's like I get it, I open it up right away, I want to see the cards right away, you know? And with this, I'm practicing a lot of discipline, self-discipline in not... Actually, you know what? It hasn't been very difficult to not have the temptation of opening up the cards, because I made the decision that because this deck is going to be one of my soul decks, I can already feel it, that I want to take my time with this deck, you know? I really want to savor, like, what she says in the book, and then imagine what the cards might look like with the messages that I get just reading the book. I might not read the book actually front to cover, like I said. I might just read the first intro, and just because the intro is just so beautifully written. And I'm going to definitely do a separate video talking about the book and just maybe reading you some of the passages in there. I'm excited, so excited, because I don't think actually I can say comfortably and confidently that I've never been so excited about a deck before. Let's say an oracle deck before. There is a card that's actually titled Chiron. And as soon as I saw that in the table of contents, I was thinking, how perfect is that? I mean, Chiron is, not only is it really synchronistic, me getting this deck, and Chiron, because I've been I've been really delving into the meaning of Chiron astrologically, and I'm reading a book on Chiron right now, which I'm loving, absolutely loving. And Chiron has... When I first started really studying astrology seriously, Chiron was the one planet that got me into the idea of correspondences and medical astrology, and just getting excited about, learning about the whole idea of plants and crystals being associated to signs, and then healing that comes with the charts, and just studying healing. And because I have personally also been through a lot of health issues in the past 10 years, Chiron just really interested me. So anyway, long story short, I'm also a Sagittarius, so the whole idea of horses, ever since I can remember, I mean, my very, very first memory of horses was when I was 3 or 4 years old. I mean, it's a very hazy memory, but I've always been really just in love with horses. Unfortunately, I haven't really had a chance to have a close relationship with them, but I do feel connected to horses in such a deep soul way. So that's what I'm doing with this deck. I'm taking my time. I'm getting used to the book. I'm reading the book, and I've read her other books before. Linda Kohanab has authored quite a few different books, actually, on the psychology of leadership and building emotional resilience, drawing on the psychology of and the mind and the intuitive and the wisdom capacities of horses. So that's all I'm going to say for now. I don't want to ramble on too long. I realize my video has been over half an hour long, and I didn't expect that at all. So thank you so much for listening and for being here. And if you've stuck with me until now, thank you. And I would love to hear your comments down below. If you want to comment on anything I've mentioned so far. And thank you for listening to the part about Chiki. Chiki is my heart. I love that little bird. And, you know, most people don't, a lot of people at least that I'm surrounded with, don't know how intelligent and how sensitive these beings are. And if you had experience with horses too, with birds in your life, you probably totally understand what I'm talking about. They're just such amazing creatures. So that whole thing that happened with them really affected me, but I'm so glad and so grateful that it's over. And yes, as always, I'm sending you lots of love and many blessings. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you in the next video.